So I've been seeing Nick Fuentes, and he's been making his rounds talking shit about Candace Owens. He went in on Milo. Man, he went in on Milo too, and he's going in on Tucker Carlson. The Tucker Carlson one's pretty wild. I didn't know that much that his dad was involved in the CIA, and it just came out, and he's saying, "I didn't know that." And how did this little fag kid from Illinois, he called him a fucking gay kid. How did this little fucking faggot know this? And then there's videos of him saying, "Yeah, I knew my dad was CIA. I was very surprised." Peter Thiel with Palantir and talking about how this ties with JD Vance. He's just going off. That motherfucker needs to get security. He needs to get security real quick. I've seen the Candace Owens. More and more I read about Candace Owens and seeing the way she's sued a lot of conservative podcasters, the way she handles herself. I'm kind of really just turned off by her at the moment. I used to really like her, but I'm turned off by her. One of the things I wanted to do is look at that interview she had with Nick Fuentes. And this interview, I heard it real fast and I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I was like, let me see what they're kind of talking about. They didn't talk about anything that I thought they would. I thought they were going to really go in on the Israel stuff and all that, but she was kind of attacking them. And this video tells it all. I want to share this with you so we could go through it. And man, she comes off just really shitty to me. I don't know about you guys, but this the way she handles herself, and it just sounded really stupid. She sounds arrogant. She sounds pretentious. I didn't like the way she came off at all. And some of y'all are gonna be like, "You're a Nick Fuentes guy." I'm actually not. I think he says some truths. I think there's some good things that he does, and I think he's very valuable. I think he's talented as fuck. Don't get me wrong, but I don't believe everything he says, and I don't agree with everything he says. But nobody should agree with everybody 100%. So if you agree with everybody 100%, you probably should check yourself. Everybody has their own thoughts and their own opinions. And yeah, is he a valuable asset to like truth telling? I think so. I think he's told a lot of truths, and I think he's shown that over and over the way he's kind of pinpointing. And I don't know who he has investigating for him. If it's just him, that is fucking impressive. God damn. But if he has a team, that's awesome. I mean, having help like that, and it's good that we have somebody like that so we could analyze it, research it for ourselves, and come up with our own opinions. So we're going to go ahead and go through this real quick. I want to just show you some of the stuff that I felt that were very just not good on Candace's part. So let's go ahead and watch.
What is your dating life?
I don't have a dating life.
So you don't date?
No.
You have a perspective about who you want to marry? Do you intend to get married?
I do intend to get married and have kids.
So where are you at on that?
I'm trying to get prepared for that mentally.
What does that mean? You're 26 years old.
I like my life. I like being single. I like being a guy. I like what I like. I like reading books. I like doing my show. I'm a pretty antisocial person. And it's a big adjustment for a man to go from having a life where you can do whatever you want, go wherever you want, unaccountable, everything like that, to then you have to be roommates with women and children. It's a totally different lifestyle. And
yeah, so I do want to say, yeah, if he's not ready to do that commitment, don't do it. For men out there that are not ready to just say, hey, I'm ready to give it all up and be totally 100% involved in my child's life and my wife's life and all the stuff that comes along with that. That's a big commitment. And he is 26. He still has a lot of time. Just because women have that clock that's ticking, not men. Men don't have that. So yeah, I think he's getting his career set up. He's getting his money right, and he's also getting his mentality right. If you don't have the mentality to raise kids and have a wife and all that, then don't do it, because you're just gonna fuck up that marriage and those kids. So I kind of agree with him there. And then the way she said it, right? You're 26. Oh my God. It sounded really shitty. Why do you have to say it like that? Just say, hey, you know what? You say you're a church person. You have these conservative values. At 26 years old, I would think you would at least be looking for a spouse and kind of practicing what you preach. You could have said it like that, or she could just said it more nice, like, hey, you're 26 years old. Do you ever plan on it, like anytime soon, or what's going on? But she kind of said it like an asshole, and yeah, it didn't really come off that well.
For someone like myself, I'm a pretty eccentric and kind of out there person. I don't have a regular sleep schedule. I'm awake all night. I'm asleep all day. And my sleep schedule's moving around all the time. I like to go out on drives all the time. The idea of my wife sending me out the door, okay, be home by 10, call me and tell me where you're going. Or, I go on a trip. I got to get the car seats and buy all the plane tickets and stuff like that. It's kind of cramping my style. So I'm trying to get over that, I guess. But that's maturing.
Yeah, I think you should probably mature on that point. I mean, what?
Yeah, I know. You got to tell me. I know.
I want to go for drives. Like that would be something. I mean, if you are, do you attend the mass?
I do.
Like, do you go every Sunday?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so you're like a committed Catholic. Then obviously, like, the perspectives on family. I mean, I personally, and this would be me lecturing, but I just feel like you really have no idea who you are until you start a family. And whether that means just marriage, some people who are struggling to have children, okay, fine. But there's such a growth that happens because of that I think it informs your beliefs in so many ways. And I think that was a huge turning point for me. Like, I wonder if I had been pressed with everything that happened last year, if I didn't have like the unshaken faith and my family, what would I have done? And sometimes.
All right, I do want to say you do know who you are before you have a wife and kids. You do know who you are. And he obviously knows who he is. And he's saying, I'm not ready for that kind of commitment yet. I have a lot of things I want to do before I get to that level. And I disagree with her there. I do agree with her where she says, like, once you have that, the amount of growth that you will get is 100% true. I never really felt like a real adult. And I know this is just me. This is my own thoughts. I know people will be, oh, you're an idiot. But this is the way I felt. I never really felt like a real adult until I had kids and I was responsible for another human being. I was like, holy shit, I'm a real dog. I'm like my parents, that was that turning point for me. But she is lecturing him, and I think that's the wrong way to go about it. He still is a young man. You don't need to like jump right into it, especially when you're not ready. So I disagree with her there. I do agree with her with the growth. I disagree, like, you don't know who you are. You do know who you are. You might not know what you're capable of until you have kids and a wife and all that, because it's different, like just the amount of stuff you got to do. But you know who you are.
When I see the things that you say, I do think, okay, he doesn't take into account family. It's just Nick. Nick is in his own world, which can be, I think, a quite selfish perspective, which is fine. That's what you're saying. You like being selfish is another way to say what you just said. I like being selfish and I don't want to give of myself to somebody else. But
now that right there is just a hit piece. You're just a selfish prick, ain't you? Hey, look at you, you selfish fuck. I mean, come on, Candace. What was that? He's 26 years old. Chill out. He's living a way chaotic life than an average 26-year-old. I didn't like the way she worded that. It's like, dude, you're just coming off as like a pompous asshole at that point. So yeah, that was kind of weird.
I also think there's something selfless involved, which is to say, I could go and start a family and drag them into a world of mine, which is pretty chaotic. I mean, is this really the kind of a lifestyle? If I'm banned on everything and I can't make a living, I'm banned from banking, I'm banned from credit card processing, I'm getting doxxed, people are showing up to my house trying to kill me, things like that. And what's more, I mean, let's also get, I also don't appreciate the lecture. You don't know me, so I know you're married, I know you're older than me, but you don't know me, you don't know my life, you don't know my situation. I don't think you're in a position to give me advice, especially as a woman, honestly. I don't think women, this is something in the right wing. We say we're anti-feminist, and then women go around telling men what to do, who are not their husbands. And, I don't really buy into that ideologically, but that's besides the point. My life has been tumultuous from the very beginning. From the time I turned 18, people were coming for my neck and trying to get me, and I was kicked out of college. And then, once you're branded as an anti-Semite, before it became cool or popular, can't get a job, can't make a living, get banned from PayPal, all this kind of stuff. That's a very difficult environment to try to have a dating life. What do? I go out on Tinder, I go to a bar, and I say, hey, I'm a neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes that the ADL is writing articles about every day. I'm going to start a dating profile on Tinder. People are going to screenshot that, mess with me in all kinds of ways. It's a very difficult predicament, actually, for me, because I took on basically a huge sacrifice at the beginning. And I don't know that you really appreciate that enough. I think that you're somebody who, you had a career in politics for as long as I was fighting a battle. You were at Daily Wire with a contract. You're at Turning Point. You're making good money. You're doing book deals. You're part of this thing that I'm criticizing and paying a very heavy price for at a time when no one's saying those things, when it's very unpopular. And it's not to say that I'm a victim, because I did it willingly and I love it and I would do it again. But it is to say that, you and I have lived very different lives. And, it's easy, I think, for you to say you had your husband, have your kids, you got your ducks in a row, made quite a bit of money. Then you discovered the truth, and then you went out on a limb. And it's not to say you didn't make sacrifices and it wasn't a risk, and it paid off. You're doing great now, and I congratulate you But with me, there was no calculation. I mean, I almost want to say I was 17. What's your excuse? I was 17 and I woke up and I went balls to the wall, bucket of ice cold water, as you say.
So one of the things I see where he's talking about is selfless. It's like, okay, Nick, calm down. You're not making the ultimate sacrifice, but still, he is telling truth, right? Like, I don't want to. I don't want to be. It's not that I'm selfish. I'm just not ready. And I think I want to do a lot of things before I make that commitment, take that plunge. And he's totally correct on that thing. That he does live a crazy life. He has people going to his door. We all saw that video in Illinois, which I don't know why the fuck he stays in Illinois, the worst state to stay in, with the prosecutors and everybody else. That just It's just a revolving door in and out of those jails. Yeah, bro, get the fuck out of Illinois. Go somewhere where it's more conservative and you can own a gun. He probably just wants to stay where he's from, but still, when you're a public figure like that, you might have to leave your comfort zone and go to a different state. That's my advice to you. I know I'm nobody to give you advice, but that's just my advice. Also, I wish he really would have went in on her like the way he does on his rant. He does these incredible rants where you just see him and he just freestyling, going off, saying names, having his receipts. He's tied to this. This is tied to this. Her husband's tied to this, and he's royalty in the UK with this. I love that. Why didn't you say that then? Say it to her face. I really don't like the whole I'm gonna be playing a nice guy and we're gonna be cordial and friendly, and then all of a sudden you go back home and you're like, I'm gonna fucking rip on this bitch, bro. Do it there. It would have been great because she would have been stumped. I would have loved to see that. Just her like, no, you don't know what I'm talking. Like, I would have loved that. I thought it would have been great. So that's your time, and I do understand your schedule and your lifestyle. That I mean, people hate your guts, like you said. I'm neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes. I could imagine. Yeah, I wouldn't want to bring a family into that right now, and I would like to get all my ducks in a row before I even get to that, because I have security and that kind of capital that lets me live a safe life where I could take care of myself and my family.
And I went balls to the wall, bucket of ice cold water, as you say. I made a lot of enemies, and maybe that wasn't wise. But I told the truth and I took on extremely heavy cost for my personal life. It basically has made it so that I can't have a personal life. I don't even have many friends. Forget about, dating women. I can't even really have a lot of male friends because there's such an incentive to betray me, to turn your back on me, because there are people that are being paid to attack me all the time on Twitter or for information about me, things like that. So, it's something like everything else that I'm figuring out one step at a time, just like my show. And, when I get banned from something, whether or not I'll be able to have a family and kids and what that'll look like. But I mean, it's a little more complicated, I think, than maybe you understand.
I do like what he said, and I think a lot of people have to take in consideration. I don't live this man's life. I'm not even near his level, not even not even 1/100th, 1/1000. But I could imagine the paranoia he has. If he were to make a Tinder file, you could imagine like the people that would go out of their way to fuck with him and meet with him, and they have meet me here and have dudes try to beat him up. Um, Especially with the way he's portrayed in the media, and a lot of that he puts on himself because he likes that shock value. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of that, it's actually just shock value. I don't know if he believes everything he says the way he says it, but I think he believes in most of it, and that's enough for some people to want to harm him and destroy him or take his life, because a lot of people want to take his life, especially like the left. They go and resort to violence anytime something they don't believe in is being spewed out, or there's some other opinion that contradicts their own, and it's like, we need to kill this Nazi. So I get that. I think he's not the only one talking about the Jewish stuff and Israel and all that. There's been many people doing it before him, so he's not like the only one online doing this. So I like, yeah, I get that you were, but you're not the only one. So don't say like I'm the only voice online. Other than that, I think he's 100% correct. I do want to reflect on that. That must suck. I think that sounds like a really sad life that you have to watch your back that often. But that's what comes with the price of telling the truth sometimes, and he's paying that price. So more power to you, brother.
I feel like you just got super triggered by me just saying something so casual. What was that about?
Okay, this is where I have the problem right here. This is where I have the problem. There's no indication of him being super triggered. He was very articulate and expressed his viewpoint on why he's not doing a certain thing. He said it very casual. There's no tension. You can see his body language is very relaxed. There's no like tension in his shoulders. He's talking very relaxed. Where did you get super triggered? That is just you trying to do a hit piece. Now, again, Nick Fuentes is 100% correct. This was a hit piece. This was 100% of hippies. Look at this. You sound super triggered. Look at you. Like that's like a child's play way of debating. Like, look at you. You're so mad. And then they want to get you to that point. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not mad. And then look at you. You're mad. She's just throwing out the bait out there, like, let me reel him in. Let me piss him off so I could get that fucking clip. I could get that 30-second clip of him cussing me out or calling me the N-word or whatever that may be, because Nick Fuentes would do some shit like that. I could see him, or just saying some very misogynistic shit towards women. That is not in good faith way to debate or even have a conversation with somebody. She totally lost her credibility with that statement right there. You're super triggered. What the fuck? What are you talking about? That almost made me mad. Like, what are you talking about? He just gave you a very good answer on why he doesn't not have a family or a wife and all that. I mean, there's nothing that he said that seemed like he was getting aggressive or he was getting kind of offended in any way. Yeah, I don't see it. I really don't see it. So y'all let me know if I'm missing something here.
I feel like you just got super triggered by me just saying something so casual. What was that about?
See, I don't
like,
appreciate
you're a woman.
that.
You're like, you're a woman. I mean, just like, I was just having a conversation with you, just being like, hey, like you there's a lot of growth that comes from when you start a family. Like that's like it's a pretty cool thing to do. And I feel like you got pretty triggered there and got like a little upset. I don't know what I did there.
I don't like that you say triggered.
Well, you were a little bit triggered.
You know what you're doing. It's not something that you did. You know what you're doing. Stop it. You look a little triggered. Oh, this silly. Look at you. Shut up, Candace.
Candid. I'm being candid with you. And,
but saying, a woman just should, it's like, okay.
You're talking about my personal life. You're talking about my personal life.
Yeah, we're having a conversation. I talk to tons of people about their personal lives. Like, why do you feel like that wasn't a line of attack, Nick?
I know it wasn't a line of attack.
So why you kind of responded like you were just attacked?
Nicky boy. This is where I would have loved for you. I've seen you do it, just freestyle and go off and fucking connect the dots and paint a picture very fucking vividly on who's in bed with who and why that's a big problem and how the American people are getting fucked. And oh my God, this was your time to go at her. I would have loved to see you go at her. You should have put her feet to the fire, fight fire with fire, whatever you want to call it. It would have been perfect time for you to go on the attack like the way you do now on the videos, but to her face, and it would have been that much better. Anyways, let me know what y'all thought about the Nick Fuentes Candace interview. Do you agree with Nick? And do you think it was just a hit piece? Do you think she brought him out there so she could just kind of attack him? Let me know in the comments what you think. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow. We love any support. We appreciate you guys. Please get in the comments so we could discuss more. And I'll see you on the next video. Y'all have a good one. Peace.